Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. A while ago I came across a TP9 that had a Freedomsmith trigger already installed in it when I bought it. For those of you that don't know, Freedomsmith is actually an official partner of FIREARMS who imports the Canik pistol. You also probably know that I love all things Canik. I'm a bit of a fanboy. Have no bad words to say about those guns, and I'll be shooting them as long as God lets me stay on this side of the grass. So what I'd like to do a little bit is an experiment to see whether or not this $79.99 upgrade actually is worth it. I don't really know. I'm a bit skeptical because Canik triggers out of the box are already awfully doggone good. Now I can tell you from dry firing the gun a little bit and shooting it even less of a little bit, it's nice. It's got a very pronounced crisp break. It's very predictable, but without it having a dot, that might be a little bit of a way to skew the accuracy part of this test, but I'm going to do my best to see for those at home whether it's worth it or not. I don't know at all what to expect with this. Hopefully we'll be able to get some useful data out there for people, and if you're on the fence about what to do with your Canik trigger, maybe this will help you out. So we're going to load up our ZSR ammo. Of course, available online. This is just 115 grain full metal jacket. We're about, I don't know, 7-8 yards out using the B8 target. That's way fast. I'm going to put a couple more in there. The trigger does take some getting used to compared to the other rivals. Once your finger gets on the wall, you definitely do not have a lot of travel before the gun fires. So, just getting used to the pistol. They're tightening up pretty good. I'm gonna run a couple more in there. So this version of the Canik I'm shooting is a TP9. Early version, as I mentioned, no ability to put a dot on there. The previous owner had put some grips and, sort of slicked it up. I'm gonna go downrange and look at the carnage. Very crisp before I go. The gun fires almost in a startling speed from the wall. That may not be ideal for everyday carry. I shoot the rival all the time, and it could be for sure that I'm just not used to that gun yet, but it's actually activating quicker than makes me comfortable for it. As you can tell, the first shot bears that out. So let's go downrange. Yeah, I mean, respectable. We're not bad. This was the first one, total mistake on my part. But after that, we'll take it from 21, 22, 3 feet, whatever. Not too bad. This is my wife's Mete. I believe they call this stressed, or maybe it's distressed Arctic. I can't quite remember. Total stock factory trigger, nothing doctored about it. Of course, with my hollow sun green dot optic on there. So, not to game the drill, I didn't tune this before I came out. So my point of aim will be the circle next to the cross rifles. If we're not there, that's okay. I'm just more shooting for consistency than anything else. A little up. That was probably me. Shot hole. Another one. And another one. So one mistake, a little push to the right, But you can see stock trigger. I'm going to put another one in there. Not too bad. Much tighter. It is a dot. I can tell you I prefer this over the Freedomsmith, but we're going to try another one. This is a Mete MC9L, of course. I carry and use this gun a lot. I'm guessing the trigger setup design, it's probably the same trigger. Shouldn't get a lot of difference, but just for the sake of argument, we'll see. This time I'm going to try and shoot at the crossed rifles. There it is. There it is. There it is. For me, I'm not spending the 80 bucks. I suppose I already did, but I bought that gun used at a good rate, so one more. I'm gonna head downrange. So you'll notice this is a mistake. My shot trend is very linear, which is just something that happens with the dot. It's very hard because of the size of the dot to kind of, you know, the way I see because of cataracts and all of that stuff, but acceptable. You can tell a little bit more left and right with the TP9, but I'm going to move back and talk about the major differences in the triggers factory as compared to the upgrade. So we're back to the TP9. Right there, in maybe a quarter inch, you're on the wall. So all the farther, that's all the more take up of the trigger there is. Pushed it high. Another high. Triggers are a bit like shoes. Everybody has their own sort of preference. What I don't like about this one is that when you're sort of just trying to fine tune your sight alignment and sight picture, for me, too much pressure and the gun goes off. The margin of error to shoot very precisely and accurate with this one, not so much. My guess is the trigger's designed a lot more for speed, like a competition sort of trigger where A zone hits are acceptable. If that's what you're looking for, absolutely good choice. With the stock trigger from Canik, you get more ability past the wall. You can almost put two walls in it because you can take it up. There's the wall. And you get a little more error margin. See that discipline? That bee was trying to bite me. Yeah. To me, it's very, very obvious that it's all about what you want. If you watch, more take up for sure, but I don't know. Like I said, they're a lot like shoes. Everybody has their own preference. To me, this reeks of speed competition. Why they put this on a gun that doesn't have the ability to have an optic, I don't know. I guess you could learn to get precise and good with it, but for me, I'm just gonna stick to factory, of course, with a red dot. So in conclusion, the only other thing that I would have to add is back to the cost of the Freedomsmith trigger. For 80 bucks, you're not going to get hurt. If you don't like it, you can put it back to the way it was with factory. It might be your preference, it just wasn't mine. I think they're a quality company. The parts are excellently machined. They're very attractive, cool looking sort of aftermarket stuff. But for me, I'm just gonna stick with factory and not gamble the $80, but if you do, you probably won't be disappointed. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and don't be afraid to like and subscribe. This is actually the Freedomsmith website. And you can see below, it's very easy to use, very user-friendly. They're very specific about the type of Canik that you have. You do have to be careful because they're not switchable or universal. You do have to declare TP9, SFX, all of this, all the way down to, you can see here, Rival or Mete. So please be careful using the site. But you can see they all come in multiple colors, very, very well machined, nice looking website. And if the upgrade is truly your bag, this would be the place to go. Very simple, and as you can see, $79.99, not a huge gamble.